Hello everyone. In this video, we will create a simple Spring Boot Hello World application and we will use this 5 steps to create the application. We will use Spring Initializer tool to create the frame of the project. Then we will import that project into our IDE. I'm using Eclipse. We will add some code to it. I will be adding Hello World controller, and then we will build the project using Maven, and then we will run the Spring Boot application. So in the end, you should be able to see Hello World on the browser when we type http localhost 8080 slash. So that's the intention of the small project. So let's get started. Initializer on the Google, and then I can go ahead and click this option. Here we have a few options that we need to select, and then it will create a zip file that we can import into the IDE. So let's get started. So the language is Java, um, and the build tool I'm using is Maven, and Spring Boot version is 3.3.5. Here the artifact name, I can change it to Hello World. The packaging is jar. The version of Java again is 17 that I'm using, and the dependency is web, so Spring Web. And this is useful in building the RESTful applications and also using Apache Tomcat. So there are lots of dependencies that you can add and get started. Right now, for my simple application of displaying Hello World on the browser, all I need is Spring Web dependency. I'm going to click on generate, and this is the Spring Boot folder where I want to generate the applications. So the Hello World zip got generated. I can go ahead and unzip this file using the archive utility, and this is the application that had got generated with the tool. So I can go to my IDE and I can import this application. So once I go to my IDE, I'm using Eclipse. I can go and import this. I am using existing Maven projects because the generation tool that I used is Maven. And then next, I will browse to my directory, which is going to be documents and Spring Boot and Hello World. So once I um, browse to that particular location, I get pom.xml over here, and I'll go ahead and click finish. So this is the Hello World structure that had got generated. The first thing that we have is pom.xml, where we imported the web dependency, which brought in few dependencies, which brought in Spring Boot starter web. It brought in Spring Boot starter test because of writing test cases. We would want to write the test cases for these, and also the Maven plugin because we want to run the build using Maven. So these are the dependencies that got added. Um, Another thing that happened is we would have the SRC Java folder and SRC test Java, main Java and test Java. So, and then also a resources folder if you want to add resources. So for the main Java, we have one application, which is the main starting point, the main method that got added, and it says spring application.run hello world application. So this is a starting point of the Spring Boot application, and it is annotated with Spring Boot application, which is again a combination of couple of annotations. um, we will not go in detail for that. We will just go ahead and with our execution. So the next thing that we want to add along with this, we also have this test file for this Hello World application test, which we can in future add the test cases that we need. So right now we are going to go ahead and add a new controller, new class, which is a controller. I'm going to give the name Hello World controller. Then I'm going to finish this. And then here, this will be annotated with REST controller because I want to make it as REST API. So REST controller, which is a combination of add controller and response body annotation. So we will import this, and the import is from org Spring Framework web bind annotation. So this is what the annotation that we are going to use. And then I'll write a simple display method. So public string display, and then I'll say return hello world, because this is what we want to display. Now, in order to display this, we need to give the mapping, right? So the mapping can be given using a get mapping. So if you give get mapping, we can import it again from Spring Framework web bind annotation. And then we will give a forward slash, because at this location is when we want to display the hello world, the index location. If you give anything else like hello or something else, that's the location it will say. I just want to display it on the root directory, so I'll give the forward slash here itself. And now we are done. This is all I need. All I want to do is run this application and use this get mapping and display hello world. So let's see if it works. So first we will go and build this application. So I'll do run as maven build, and then I will say clean install. So now it's building my application, and if everything goes well, you will get build success. And now all you need to do is just to right click, and you will say run as Java application. Since you remember we have the main method here, it will use this main method to run the application, and it will run it on the embedded Tomcat server. So I'll say run as Java application. And now it is asking me for the main class. I will select hello world application because this is my main class. So it says that the Tomcat started on port 8080 with this context path, and this application is also started. So let's see, let's go to the browser and see if it works. Okay, so as you see on the localhost 8080, I see hello world. So this is how you can generate a simple Spring Boot application. You can use the Spring Initializer tool to generate the application, get the zip file, unzip the utility, import it, and all you need to do is add a controller, add a Spring Boot app, add a controller, and then add a REST controller and the get mapping, and display whatever you want to display. And this is how you can see the hello world on the screen. So I hope this video has been useful.